It's been a couple months since I did a Write With Me, so thought I would get back to it. The holidays were very busy. Just the craziness of Christmas and New Year's. I'm glad it's over. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I'm glad I'm back to regular routines. Yeah, I'm gonna say right off, forgive me if the format is different every single time, because I'm kind of experimenting with how I do my videos. I'm just not quite sure how I want them to turn out yet, so we'll see what happens. I'll keep testing, and I would love your feedback on that. If there's a format that you really like, just let me know and I'll take that into consideration with all my testing and stuff. So, to get to the actual material, I have not done a lot of world building these past couple months because, like I said, holiday craziness. But I've been getting back to it these past couple weeks and it's been great. Before I was just really stuck on what to do because like I said last time, I did the geography. My map is still hanging up over there. So I did the geography, a little bit of the cultures, but I just felt stuck. It just felt boring. I wasn't really going anywhere. So maybe it was a good thing that I stopped, and now that I'm getting back, my brain is going off like a machine gun. I'm just making all these connections and it is going so well and I'm super excited about it. It's going great. Hopefully it'll continue to do that for a while. So the things that I did these past couple months, I did a lot of culture stuff, and when I went through the culture, I developed the origin of the people. I looked into their foods, their clothing, their family structure, social structure, things of that sort, all the while keeping in mind their origin and their early history. Because I believe for the most part, I can't say this for certain, but for the most part, I think the origins and the circumstances of a society really has a huge role in how the rest of their society works, if that makes sense. So for example, the elves, no, I'll do the dwarves. I had a lot of fun with those. So I took into consideration the origin of the dwarves, and in my world, the dwarves were created by the elves to mine for gold and jewels and different things, so the elves could then take that and perfect that part of their craft. And the dwarves revolted against that and got their freedom and went off to a faraway country that I call Jorthgraphia. And so because of that, they hate elves. They're very suspicious about other peoples. That's what I mean by keeping in mind the origin story and their early circumstances. And I found that very helpful in their rituals, their beliefs. Besides the cultures, I also did a lot of work on the magic system. So that is really what's been chugging along for me lately. I have kind of a couple central things to my mind just went blank, I'm sorry. To the magic system. I have a couple things that have to do with the magic system. It's very nature driven. The elves, the dwarves, of course the tree people interact with nature, tree people are nature to some extent, and other creatures like that, they all interact with nature, and they have different levels with which they can interact with it. And that's where spells come in for people who want to interact with nature, but they naturally can't, like humans. They learn spells and stuff which make them appear like they can, but they actually can't. And learning the spells and stuff is looked very much down upon by the creatures of Shamar, which is what my world's name is. So I have interacting with nature. I also have this land tree. I don't know how I describe it. It's this central tree, and its roots cover, like underground, of course. They travel underground all throughout the land so that wherever you go, its roots are going to be there. And that tree upholds all the good magic and keeps away the bad magic. And so that's very pivotal for later on in the story, where things happen to the tree. And the tree has its own tree man, by the way, which is a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to exploring that. So interacting with nature, the tree, what else is there? There's also mind bending, where I got the idea from part of the Lord of the Rings. I can't remember which book it's in. I think it's The Return of the King, where forces come to help. I think it was Gondor, where the elves were sent by Galadriel? I'm probably butchering all of this. I'll have to go back and see if I can find this. But the reinforcement, the guy leading it said that this other person had bent his mind toward them, and so they said, oh, we need to go help them. Just by like an inkling that they had or something. And so that's where I got the idea of mind bending, where it can be very developed so you can transport yourself to somewhere in mind. But it starts out as being able to read someone else's thoughts. So that's been a lot of fun to really explore. What else is there? I feel like there's something else. For some reason or another, I don't have my world building stuff with me. If you want a more in-depth discussion on everything, you can check out my blog post, which will be linked in the description. So yeah, that's all I can really remember about the magic system. There are probably lots of things I'm forgetting. And one other thing I've been working on is a timeline to keep track of all the events and the ages and whatnot of the history. And I found it very helpful, but also very challenging. I'm working with elves who have really long lifespans, and I'm pairing them with humans who naturally don't have that long of lifespans. Since they're people from early on, I'm basing this knowledge off of the Bible. So like early on in the Bible, people lived to like 500, stuff like that. So my people in this world live up to around 200. Even then, compared to the elven lifespan, it is very short and it's very hard to work with. So I've found the timelines making it a lot easier. But like I said, it's also challenging because there are big numbers. And since I'm not a mathy person, I can't wrap my mind around big numbers and being able to work with them. This is not something I anticipated. And what's more difficult is I have 3 timelines. And here's why. I have the Elven timeline, which is also the standard forest timeline, and they start at the beginning of the world, and they have their own ages. Ages, I mean sections of time, like history. But then I think it was around 18,000 years after the beginning of the world, the dwarves were created. No, it's not 18,000, it was before then. See, I'm getting it all mixed up. I've changed the numbers so many times today, I can't keep track. I have it all written down, I promise. So, anyway, yeah, the dwarves come on later on, and so they have their own timeline. But then after that, the humans come in, and so they have their own timeline. And so it's very, I'm gonna say aggravating to some point, but I feel like it's gonna be really good in grounding the events to a certain timeline so I can actually see when things happened, and so I can stay consistent to things in the book. And also, if I plan to make a lot more books, which I thought of another book idea the other day, so I know there will be at least 3 books, and I might make a 4th. I'm not sure. 3 is a good number though. So yeah, if I choose to make more books, I'll know when the events happen because I have the timeline. And I can make it as simple or complicated as I want. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be more complicated than I want. So for all of you who are also world building, maybe that's why you're watching this video, is because you're world building and you want some ideas. Hopefully some of the stuff I said was useful. The series with Write With Me is mostly my experiences, and I'm sharing those experiences and hoping that something that I say will help you out, but it might also just be for fun. Hopefully it's both. Hopefully this is enjoyable. My audio in the last video was horrible. I am so sorry. I could not fix it. It was so bad. And yeah, and it was also very blurry and it was not focusing. It was a nightmare. Let's just put it that way. It was a nightmare. So hopefully this one is actually fine. So yeah, if you're world building, and let me know in the comments what you are doing. Maybe a little bit about what your book is about. That's always fun, but you don't need to share very much if you don't want to. I know I don't like to share too much because I like to save it for whenever my book is published. And there's a lot of scamming around, so I like to be careful. So yeah, I hope to see you guys next month with another update with Write With Me, and enjoy your writing journey, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, that's not gonna work.